Hello, everyone. This panel will be in English because we have an outsider here, and we will be talking about cybersecurity. With us are three panelists to help clear some air on this topic. First one is Adrian Zhitko, certified ethical hacker, pen tester, who is a speaker on larger cybersecurity conferences like InfoSec, INET Summit, and Maritime Cybersecurity. Second one is Urban Suhadolnik, expert on cybersecurity, networks, and internet privacy. He's a founder of first student team in cyber security competition and a member of Slovenian Ethical Hacker Foundation. And the third one is from Spain, Gergo Valentin Kirkos, social engineering analyst at Elton. He is determined in understanding how criminals are trying to use our weaknesses against us, and is preparing a social engineering analyst course. Besides being a cybersecurity ninja, he is one in real life as well, as he is doing martial arts from the age of 10. Thank you all for being here. But before we start this panel, I would like to bring up some facts from last year's security report, and I will put a link in of the report in the chat for those who are interested in more details. Right now, I would just like to share a screen. I hope you all see it. This is a snapshot. A moment. One of most popular type of attacks for criminals is ransomware. Here is just a snapshot of a situation that is happening globally regarding attacks. As you can see, America, Europe, and Asia are hard at it. And I wanted to put this image because it really, it looks kind of like warfare, and we'll get to that a bit later. But here it is. One of the most popular attacks, as I said, is ransomware. And as you can see, only 14% companies receive all of their data after paying ransom. And those ransoms can be quite high. On average, they are more than $250,000. Current trends say that phishing sites are far more common today than malware sites. And criminals use sites that look like any number of well-known sites we use every day, or people we talk to in our company with attempts to get your personal info. I wonder how many of you would not try the new Windows that came complimentary to your email with infected USB drive. And maybe even a weirder one is from Slovenia, where a well-known CEO, Dejan Turk, received a phone call from his boss from Vienna, and it was a fake voice backed by AI. And as we're talking about AI, we all heard of ChatGPT, right? We all have also have the criminals and are using it to build malware and fake girl bots, so beware. Needless to say, cyber attacks are happening every day, and we need to prepare for them. And I will finish with this snapshot again, because it does look like a warfare, and warfare is now a hybrid, and it happens online as well. Expert on this is Adrian, and I would like you, Adrian, to tell us all, when did cyber war start in Ukraine, and does it affect us here in Slovenia in any way?
Yeah, hello everybody. Is my mic okay?
Yeah.
All good. Hello. So definitely the Ukraine cyber attacks do have some type of aspect to European Union and also the Slovenia. Hence why the European Union also put out some pointers, if I can call them that way, how we could further protect our systems and applications, but more or less we're talking about critical infrastructure here. So, because if we are talking, for example, some of the attacks that were purely made for Ukraine, such example would be Credomap malware. It was firstly created for Ukraine. Of course, it didn't stay there because any type of cyber attacks is not just within the borders. They always go out, no matter for what countries they're made. Hence the Credomap. Credomap was attacking the infrastructure of Ukraine, health infrastructure and the energy infrastructure. But what was interesting here is that it was mixing social engineering and technical attacks. So it was exploiting the Windows vulnerability, the Folina. But the interesting part here is that it wasn't just targeting the Windows systems, it was targeting the browsers as well. So here we come to social engineering because users kept saving their passwords in browsers. So this Credomap was connecting to the Windows system, but then it stole cookies and passwords from users that were saving them in the browser. So it's really, really important to focus on that. Not just technical vulnerabilities are exploited, so we can fix them. We can like have additional controls in place. Like companies are getting very, very good at that. But if we are not educating our users, all the other controls just fall into the water.
Thank you. You told me that there were a couple of versions in just a couple of days. Can you tell me a bit more about that malware?
Yeah, Credomap, the first version. I mean, all versions were exploiting kind of the same vulnerability, but Windows was really, really fast with patches. So the first Credomap came out and they fixed it like in 2 days maximum. And then the second version of Credomap came out like 2 days or 1 day after the patch. So there were like 3 full versions of Credomap, and they were all exploiting the Windows. So they were patching it, of course, but this is why we have to like not just patch our systems, but also not save our passwords in browsers, for example, or click any weird links and similar. Because the attackers are, they're developing their attacks all the time. We can fix one attack, and the other one will come, and the other one will come again. So it's constant vigilance.
Yeah, thank you. Talking about these sites, I will ask social engineering expert Grego.
Oh, Milan, can I just interrupt you on this one?
Yes, please.
You said that Victor Valentin, sorry, he's SOTS analyst. SOTS is a security operations center.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So Greg, I would like to ask you, how does phishing work in real life? What happens? How it might happen to us or even you?
Hello there. First of all, thank you for having me. Does my microphone works? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. How does phishing works? Normally, you get an email with a malicious document. It can be a PDF, Word, and when you download it, it connects back to the attackers. So they have remote code execution in your computer. Another type of attacks is when you get a URL, a simple URL. You click on the URL, and by clicking it, an attacker can steal your cookies, steal your sessions, and everything. How can you see that this is a phishing email? Well, first of all, if you are looking at the sender, if it's something rare like xyz.google.something-else.com, that's a red flag. If you visit a site, sometimes these URLs redirect you to fake login sites, like a fake Microsoft login sites. Look for low quality pictures and the URL. Sometimes it's not portal.microsoft.com, it's portal but with a 0.microsoft.com. So always check the sender, always check the URL, and that's all.
Did it ever happen to you? Did you ever fall for any of these sites?
Yes, I've got phished one time. I've got an email from a company called DC Council. They provide certifications and educations for cybersecurity professionals. They have a certification called Certified Ethical Hacker, which is well known in this industry. And I've got an email from them. I thought that the email is from them with a 50% discount. It caught my eye, and obviously I clicked. And that's all. I thought that nothing happened. Next day, when I logged in on my Gmail account, I see another session, another active sessions. And when I opened up my browser, I see the intranet site of our company. And I have never visited that site. So I reset my password, closed all the active sessions, and told my manager about it, that this happened to me. This is the best thing you can do if you get phished. If you don't tell your manager, then tell the help desk. I'm sure they will help you out.
So you're saying even if this happens to us, the most important thing is to tell people who are in charge so that they can do something about it and not just keep quiet about it and try to fix it yourself.
Yeah. It happens to everybody. Everybody can get phished. I talk that I'm a cybersecurity professional. I know the red flags, but no, even I can get phished. So be careful.
Because usually they are more like you want an iPhone or there is delivery from Amazon or some PDF files that may be interesting for you to open. But as you said,
we can talk about general phishing and targeted phishing.
Yeah.
If we set up a general phishing campaign normally, that type of emails are like, as you said, you bought something from Amazon and you need to confirm it. You won an iPhone, etc. We all have seen this type of emails. If we are talking about targeted phishing or spear phishing, for example, then there is more likely to see documents, malicious documents, PDF documents, Word documents. Let's see, if I spoof an email address in a company, like somebody from HR, and I send out an email to everybody inside of the company with a malicious PDF document saying management premiums or salaries 2023, everybody's gonna download it. Everybody's gonna download it. If that makes sense.
It does, because they're basically trying to catch us on our interests, whatever they are. As you said, you got phished on cybersecurity courses, right?
Normally, these type of attacks exploit the human greed, the curiosity, and sometimes the fear. Like if you are not paying this amount, your files will be encrypted. Curiosity, as I said, the management premiums, the salary. Or greed, like you want an iPhone in a website that you have never visited in your life, and you click, even you know that you have never visited that site, you have no subscription.
All right, thank you. Urban, since you have been competing in cybersecurity, I want to know, generally speaking, are we here in Slovenia well educated on this topic? Do we have good experts? Where can companies turn to for some advice? Or
so, well, it's I think like when it comes to competition and so on, it's a lot about exposure and exposure to technologies, to what's happening lately, and you can be an enthusiast. And you can absorb, you can follow things on the internet. For example, like I have followed the things about Ukraine only at the beginning. I had to work on other things in the meantime, and that has resulted that, like, for example, I don't know about the malware that Adrian just presented and talked about. So it's really good to be around people that think the way you do, maybe pick up information that you didn't and that you can learn from. So in Ljubljana, what was it, 2-3 years ago now? 3 years, I think. I founded the first team at the University of Ljubljana. I'm not part now, I'm in Graz. But I brought the idea from Germany, from Berlin, where we've turned from something that was a taboo topic. I remember on HIC 5-6 years ago, it was me and Peter Kaučić, and he was scared to present how to hack Wi-Fi. And said, don't tell anyone how to do this. It's, might be a problem. And also when we came to university, after the team was already there, we said we want to create a competition. We're like, oof, like you cyber bandits, like it better don't spill somewhere else inside the university network, which is, well, not even a thing. It's a competition. It's locked to servers where you have to be, and it's not like something that people would start attacking the whole university network for that. And even if they did, it's something that can happen anyway. So but to slowly finish, in Ljubljana, there is a thing that is getting better and better. There is, let's call it initiative through the whole Slovenia, which is now Španjola is working on that. So they go to competitions, so that is improving. And they're, as far as I know, they're doing great. So that is, but to make the point that I mentioned at the beginning, for example, when I came to Graz, where they have a team now for many more years than we do, one person was as good as the whole team back in Ljubljana. We had people that were good for cryptography. We had people that were good for binary reversing in Ljubljana. I was good at networking. Somebody else at system administration. I was once with two of the best guys in the team in Graz, and they were, "Mom, let's do this in JavaScript. Let's reverse this binary. Let's do that." Something that before it was divided through the whole team. So having this environment where informations can be shared can be amazing and crucial to improve as a cyber specialist, as a cybersecurity specialist. So, but you can find those people in Ljubljana, and Španjola has connections to all the other teams. There are like groups of people that are appearing to the whole Slovenia.
So basically, we should not be keeping this knowledge close, but share it widely, because the more you know about it, the more you know how to protect yourself, right?
Yes, of course. Like it's like not teaching nuclear physics at the physics faculty. Yes, no, it's not something. Those people will more people that know how systems work, and more people that know how to protect them, more people can help you. So yes.
So let's say you're a company in Slovenia. Where do you turn to? Who do you go to if you need some advice or service, help, any kind of?
Well, the students in the teams I think are amazing, and that's like a low-hanging fruit that anyone could do. CICEH, that's totally a shameless promotion, is it's a foundation of cyber specialists from the whole from different companies. So I think that CICEH probably has the most diverse group of people that are in constant contact when it comes to these topics. But there are also companies that are very good at that, but we have people also from those places. So I think that CICEH is one of the best places.
All right, thank you. Valentin, you told me this great Uber story once, and I would really like it if you would share it with us, because even great big companies that have basically millions, billions can get hacked, right? If they're not careful enough. What happened to them?
Yes, it's the Uber story. Uber got breached last year, the end of last year, by an 18-year-old boy from England. What did guy did? What did he? Let's see if I can talk. So this guy bought credentials, valid credentials from the dark web, and tried to log in to Uber. Then he used social engineering to get the two-factor authentication code from the employee. And he used a technique called MFA fatigue. This technique means that you are bombing the people with multi-factor authentication attacks. Then he contacted him via WhatsApp saying that, hey, I'm from the IT department and I need you to accept this request. He accepted it and he was inside the company. After this, he looked for credentials and he found credentials in plain text, stored in a text file, no, in a script. He found that the credentials were for the password management system of the company. So technically, in one day, he got full access of every service of Uber. And the interesting thing about this, that Uber is a big company, they have security measures in place. They have a lot of layers of security, and they got phished, like they got breached like this. And they lost 5% of shares after ringing the bell. Another interesting story about Uber. This is not their first breach. In 2017, if I remember correctly, they got breached the same way, and they lost 25% of their shares in that year, and they got sued for $178 million because they paid the hackers. They paid $100 and signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, with the hackers. This agreement means that they're not going to share any information with third parties. And they did not tell about the authorities. So yeah, if this happens, tell the police about it.
Yeah. I want to know, maybe Adrian, you know the answer to this one. Is it possible to catch these criminals? What can we do to catch them if it's possible? And if not, what can we do to protect ourselves?
So your question is if we can catch the fishers.
Yeah.
Well, more or less, no. I mean, even the police will not do much, sadly, but mostly because either less resources, but the biggest problem is if they're residents of like Asian countries or African countries, we simply do not have any agreement with said countries to, you know, develop anything cybersecurity, or we don't have the proper laws in place for that. But we can, as Urban also said before, we can report it to CICERT, the Slovenian CICERT organization, either report it to the IT and even, of course, the police. But maybe at this point, I would really like to point out a phishing campaign that is just going out in our country, so in Slovenia. It started in December. It's a phishing campaign of Pošta Slovenia. I'm pretty sure everybody of us got like some type of an email from this Pošta Slovenia. They're basically asking for a tiny bit of payment, like €2, nothing really much. But the goal here is not really the money. So it's not that we are paying this money, but it is to steal the data. So the personal information like credit cards, usernames, passwords, and similar things. But what is really interesting with this campaign is that if we look closely, we can see that it is a scam, because everybody who ordered online know that we pay the things, you know, whatever we order, we pay at the checkout. So we usually don't get any additional email saying that, we forgot to pay something, you just have to do it now so we can deliver it. Like this simply doesn't happen. And what is interesting with this email is if we click the link, it actually goes to different domain. They actually bought like 20 domains because Google and other authorities are blocking the domains as they go. So they of course open new ones and new ones and new ones. But what is interesting is that the last domain was actually bought for Slovenia.dreampress. It wasn't something bogus. It wasn't like random numbers and strings, but it was something that could present the Slovenia's post office. And the interesting part is that if we click on the link, it takes us to the site that says we should pay these €2 of something with our credit card to get our package. So the first flag here is if we didn't order anything from Pošta Slovenia, that's the first obvious red flag. We didn't order anything, so we don't have to pay for anything. The other one is definitely the domain. So the Slovenia.press dream something. Slovenia's post office has posta.si domain, so that's the only domain the post office can send from. And the interesting part is also that they are asking for paying for delivery, but at the front of the page, it said that we decided to pay on the delivery. Do you see the problem here? So they're asking for delivery while we apparently bought something and already paid for when the courier will come to our place. So we should really be careful with these types of things. But if we do fail, if we do like click on something, we do pay. So in this situation, it would be the credit card. We do have to call the bank immediately to block our cards and then change all of our passwords on the computer that we were doing this payment.
Okay, sounds serious. Urban, what do we do after these attacks happen? How do you respond to this? What are the steps?
Yeah, I would start here with, there are two things that have been said in the scene so many times that they're boring to say, or people don't take it serious. One is there are two types of companies: the one that have been hacked and the one that don't know. And the other one, I will say it in Slovene, that Goraz Božič likes to say, especially when it comes to phishing. He says, "Za vsako rit šiba raste." So there can be, when it's a phishing attack, there can be a specific attack that you will cave in as a person. And actually, since the previous panel was AI, now we say, oh, it's like we catch general phishing, but spear phishing is dangerous. But I think we just won't get it. Maybe with AI, everything can be spear phishing. It can be specifically designed for each person. But here, I would like to take maybe like a knowledge that has been, or like a method that has been the most present in the aviation in the aviation industry. Whenever something happens, at least in the Western world, in aviation, there is a mistake. Somebody went on a runway with an airplane when they shouldn't. Nothing happened. Nothing happened, or they overshoot the runway and got like to the last meter, but the aircraft, the front wheels stayed on the concrete. Everything is fine. What do? They write a report every time something goes wrong. Or there was an example. Aircraft controller said, no, you have to go faster, probably because they made a mistake in spacing. You have to go faster when you land, and the guy said, no, I have criteria that I should not. And he said, I will write a report. And that's not a threat. That's actually, it's good response. It's responsible. It's looking for reasons why things are happening. And I think the same goes, and why am I telling you all of this, is how to react when something like that happens. You should have a person in every company that you can say, hey, I think I got a phishing attack, or I'm not sure. Maybe this is a phishing attack. Maybe it can even go through that person. But it's not a shame to make a mistake. It's human to error. But those things have to be caught, and not only in not only in phishing. But yeah, as I said, if something happens, if there are two weird emails that you're not sure, then if those both get to, I don't know, data protection officer, IT, whatever, and they see, look, oh, this is weird. We got two things that are a little bit iffy, but not enough but not each of them to react, but there's a correlation. You need to react on that. And if there's a cyber attack, you shouldn't hide. And if there's something, and if you have a company security culture that encourages people to hide, on the long run, you'll have a problem. You should just say, this happened. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe it's a big deal. but you have to react after things happen. If something, if somebody wants to attack you, they can. Like there are two types of attacks, and maybe I can so I won't be too long this time. But you have a directed attack and you have general attacks. Normal phishing is a general attack; it goes to everyone. We look who's vulnerable. When it comes to system, you should probably just update systems, use general guidelines how to protect it with firewall, and you're generally fine. But with the directed attacks, it's a question of resources. If you're attacked by NSA or Mossad, you will lose, no matter who you are. I see Yevne smiling a lot, and it's like there's a joke: what to do to protect yourself with password, and like who is your enemy, and the last one is like Mossad, and it says go into submarine, connect from the internet, impersonate your death, and in the end it says it doesn't matter, you will still be Mossaded upon. So that will happen, but maybe luckily the things that people want to steal from your company are not worth that much that they will go after 0 days and so on. But the way you differ from others is how you detect that something bad has happened, SOC, security culture, and how you react after you, so how you detect those things and then how you react to it. And that's the difference between winners and losers in this sector.
Thank you, Urban. Yeah, I read a report that said that people get hacked even half years before something actually happens. So you have this time space where you can do something about it, change all the passwords, do backups, and so on. And since we are coming to an end, a really short answer from Adrian, who is a penetration tester. Should companies have random penetration tests or scheduled, or I don't know? What do you suggest?
Yeah, definitely. Because penetration tests, whether be internal or external, doesn't really matter. Is just a way so the security analyst or whoever is doing them can actually see how your security posture is at this time and right now. So basically, we're acting like malicious hackers, but we also, of course, secure your systems. So if we do find any vulnerabilities, you will know about them. You will know what they can cause and what the measures need to be taken, you know, so you can fix them. So definitely, I would suggest at least minimum once a year to test your systems, also the users. So not just penetration testing. I think maybe even a tiny bit more important is maybe to test your users. So conduct a social engineering campaigns, like run a phishing campaign on your employees and see if they would be able to like recognize it. Because, you know, you put them in a controlled environment. They don't know whether it's true or not. Of course, the bosses know, but your users don't, and they can actually safely learn about it. So yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you all for being today with us, for telling us a bit more about security. Thank you for fighting this fight against the criminals. And Yevne, I will give you the microphone.
Can I add one thing?
Yes, go fast.
It's just because it's dangerous. Not Adrian said it's definitely test users. But I was told this by a psychologist that specializes in social engineering. Don't break their trust.
Yeah, of course, don't break their trust. Yeah.
Because if you start, maybe even say that in the next 2 months there will be a phishing campaign, and when it happens, but the problem is, you know, if you trick your users, your employees, and then even say, oh, you're one of those that failed, and so on, maybe have consequences.
I'm sorry.
No, I know you didn't mean it that way.
No, that actually shouldn't be ever in conducting any type of social engineering attacks. Nobody knows who actually really failed the test. That is against all the agreements we make when we do that. And I would also, if I may, I don't really agree that it should be tested in a time span where you actually tell the users they will be tested, because then they will be then vigilant and they will be focused for like 3 months. But what about the rest of the year? So this is like a slippery slope. But
Okay.
thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, so sorry for going over you, but this is very important things, and maybe tell users, hey, you should be careful about these things, but have a good approach, because if you break the trust, you're worse than you have been before. So
okay, I think we agreed that the users are basically our first line of defense. So they need to learn about things. They need to have some sort of tests or education, and that's the best the company can do, right? But thank you all. Jarne, mic is yours.